ORAFOL ORAJET makes a product for walls. The product is called 3169. The 3169 is ideally a wall film. Now you can do it for a lot of other things, but this is made to be an effective wall film so that if you want to use peel and stick adhesive, self-adhesive vinyl, to do wall installations, this is a good choice. It has a weight to it which is a little heavier than other films, and it has a good degree of memory. A few things to understand about doing wall films with latex. For a lot of latex applications, I think it's fair to say that with our scratch and scuff resistance, it is not necessary that you laminate. Now you can laminate, and it will give you more memory, and it will make it more impervious. But if you choose not to laminate, I think that's fine. For a lot of indoor applications with a latex printer, our scratch and scuff resistance is quite good. However, you may encounter that if it's thinner material, it's simply hard to install because you don't have that laminate, which gives it more weight and it gives it more memory. So depending on your skill set, you may find the laminate will be of help during the installation. One of the things I look for in wall films, specifically for latex, is products that are designed for walls. And a lot of times you'll see wall films will have different levels of adhesive strength, depending on if it's more of a permanent installation or installation. And then also you may find different weights. For me, if I were looking for wall film, I would look for something that's a little heavier and then go the lamination. I'd like to skip the lamination step for indoor installations, depending on the indoor installation and depending where it is. For example, if I were installing in a busy restaurant and it was where trays of food and things would land, I'd probably go with a lamination. You're going to need something that can take a lot of heavy cleaners and stuff. But if it's just in an office wall, you're not going to be having food on it, or you're not going to be banging things into it, I think it's entirely legitimate to print without lamination. Of course, that's your call, and you can explain that to your customer and see what they want to do. It also has to do with your installers, what their preferences are. But this is a nice wall film. This is specifically designed to have a lot of virtues as a wall film. You notice that it's more of a matte finish. At best, it's got a little luster to it. Not all, but many people prefer to have more of a matte, at most a luster finish for wall films. But this is a nice choice. You notice I have some photoba marks on it. I use that for a lot of my my printing. This printed very well. It is the ORAFOL ORAJET 3169, and I use it as a wall film. Paired up, for example, with the Vipond, I think it would be a beautiful choice to do wall installation. I don't see that it's really necessary for a lot of walls to be using cast vinyls. I think that a standard polymeric vinyl will do just fine. Depending on your wall surface, what you understand about your wall, as long as the installation is meant to last.